All right, so today's video, we're watching a gold 4 support on PC playing Mercy. Okay. And the description here says, this game started out so weirdly. I was forced to cap point and push cart for a tiny bit until my team came back and all was good after that. Also, if you're on Mercy, it's fine to push the cart. Just want to point that out. But the real reason I'm submitting this is because I hate playing with hamster. I know hate is a strong word, but I don't understand how to play with hamster players. I'm not sure if I should fly in and heal them or just let them run in and use their abilities and come back when they need healing. I assume it's the second one, but they almost never come back for healing. Okay, I'm going to stop for a second here and I'll finish the rest of the paragraph after. I want to point this out to people with a wrecking ball. Your wrecking ball, for the most part, should never rely on the supports to keep them alive. Healing a wrecking ball is a by chance situation. It's not a necessity. Wrecking Ball is designed around self-sustain, understanding how to get to health packs quickly. So if you have a Wrecking Ball player on your team that is getting mad that they're not getting healed, that is misplaying Wrecking Ball more than it is that on the supports not healing the Wrecking Ball. Wrecking Ball is a self-sustain hero. Like, let me ask you this question, because I think this is a good way to explain it. If you have a Tracer on your team, are you going to fly in and heal your Tracer in the middle of a team fight? No, because Wrecking Ball is a very similar playstyle to Tracer, in which the Wrecking Ball needs to worry about keeping themselves alive. You got to remember, we're in a time of Wrecking Ball where Wrecking Ball has good amount of overshield, has really quick cooldowns to be able to get to health packs, also has self-regen from the shields, and on top of that has the healing passive that is increased on tanks to be able to heal. We are currently, right now, in Overwatch, in the easiest way as a Wrecking Ball to be able to self-sustain and keep yourself alive than Wrecking Ball ever has had before. So, like, you don't need to sit there and keep your Wrecking Ball alive, to answer your question. If your Wrecking Ball comes back and sits on the card for heals, great. You know, you can heal them then. But if your Wrecking Ball gets mad that you're not going out of your way to heal them, that is on your Wrecking Ball. Now, I don't know how the game's going to go, but we'll see. Anyway, you say, although we ended up winning, I feel like in the end I really lost because I still haven't learned anything from that game. I would really appreciate help with not only understanding how I, as a support player, can help my tank more when they're on hamster, but also to better understand good positioning with Mercy. Unfortunately, I'm a Mercy OTP with 160 hours and I can't find a way to climb, so I'd also appreciate some help with that. Thank you for your watches. I'll do my best to give you advice on that. Obviously, each rank will play differently, but anyway, let's do it. All right, so you have a Bastion Soldier, so you just better be damage boosting the Bastion or the Soldier. You have a Moira. You don't need to heal your Wrecking Ball, so you're pretty much able to just to kind of make sure your DPS are in a good spot. So far you're doing the correct plays. You don't want to follow your Soldier in there. They come back to you. Yeah, so far so good. The Wrecking Ball you're worried about goes and makes an easy pick and hasn't even dipped below HP while distracting the team. So far everything's fine here. Like, if you're worried about this, I think everything's fine. MP, thanks for the 6 months of the tier 1. Thank you. Appreciate it. The 6 months. So far, so good. Yep, this is normal. Okay, and I want to point out, because you kind of mentioned it right away that you were like stuck capturing the point. That's exactly totally fine. So I want to talk about this a little bit because I think this is good for every rank to know. When your teammates are all up here and you're only on your point by yourself, it's a good sign. What it means is that your teammates have already managed to win the point for yourself, and what they're doing now is keeping map control. It is okay to have your teammates on the initial first burst here. Go try to control the map. Why not try to get kills here? Why not keep them away? They're not going to be able to touch the point. So if we look at all the heroes left right on the board right now, everybody is in the correct spots. So as Mercy, you can sit back here and capture the point, right? You have a Moira up here with your team. The Moira is, the reason why you have the Moira up here instead of you, right, is because the Moira has the ability to kind of get out of a tough situation if for some reason they overwhelm your team. Mercy is a little bit easier to kill in that situation. So you have the Moira with survivability, you have the Wrecking Ball here, and then you have your DPS. So everything is fine. This is all just about keeping map control and making sure that you can get through one of the harder archways in the game, which is right here. This part right here can be held easily, no matter what rank it is. So what you want to do is get that map control, and so far your team's doing a great job of that. So don't be too discouraged thinking you're doing nothing here. You're actually doing the correct play. You're the one making sure that the point gets captured, and you're going to be the one that gets the point going, so that way when you do get your next team fight, the cart's in an ideal spot. Can it be boring? Yes, but I think it comes down to this. What's going to be more important in the end? Winning or losing, and what one is considered more boring, right? So I think I'll take the win any day of the week. I'm fine with the res attempt. This is good. Keep doing your thing. Don't worry about it for now.
Hello there. Fighting. Here to assist.
So far, so good. And there's a Mayel, and your team's dead. It happens, right? They use good ults. Okay, now your team's gonna come back. Per usual, you're gonna probably damage boost your soldier or your bastion, right? Keep your teammates alive, keep them at good HP, you're gonna be fine. Once again, do not worry about the Wrecking Ball. At no point now in this comp do you need to worry about the Wrecking Ball unless they're AFK in front of you looking for a heal. That is literally it. And even then, they might not even be top priority at that point. IBZ, thanks for the 17 months with the future prompts. So thank you, appreciate it. Thanks. This is literally just... nothing is wrong so far with this game. Straight up.
Feeling more powerful? My duty is being done.
Outside of your Wrecking Ball being the one pushing the card. Because I think your Wrecking Ball is the one pushing the card. Soldier's being a little bit aggro, but you're there to help. Hey, bud.
Amplifying your power. Hello there. I'll have you in top condition.
Okay, sorry. So far, this is fine. Playing aggressive with your teammates. Ball's going in, you're good. You couldn't see the aggressive biscuits? I apologize. Okay. That's fine. That was a bad grab. I was going to say, be careful with sometimes using your Valk inside of a grab, but that was a solo grab. That was just a bad play by Zarya. I didn't even see the vision that you had, so I was just sitting there like, okay, but yeah. Yeah, but I would say just make sure to like look around your surroundings in that situation, because it's very... If you told me that if my team was there and then a Mercy Valked in a Grav, I would be like, that's a free kill for me. So just be careful. It didn't really look like you looked around to see what was going on. It felt like it was more of like, that's your reaction every play, is that if they grab you to hit Valk, be very careful of that. That if you get into the habit of always Valking a Grav, there's a good chance you're going to waste your ultimate sometimes. So that was it ended up being a good Valk because there was only a Zarya there. So it was the correct decision, but you didn't get the correct, you didn't do the correct, like, I guess, pre-check to make sure it was fine to do that. I think, is that a good way to explain it? Like, you didn't do the correct, like, making sure everything was fine type of scenario is basically what I'm getting at. So, yeah, just be careful of that. Yeah, essentially, like, you made the right play, but you didn't do the correct steps prior to make sure it was the correct play. It was just a reaction to what happened. So, there you go. All right, you have Tire. Sticking with your soldier. So far, so good. Everything's fine. Like, you're like, truthfully, you're playing fine. Like, right now, everything was fine up until you flying into the Junkrat Tire. Next time, don't do that. Because even though it didn't kill you, it did enough damage for a Doomfist to follow up on you. That was probably the first mistake you've made this game. Outside of when we mentioned the Grav thing, where you just didn't search. Like, if you're in that situation, just stick with your soldier. And like, damage boost your soldier to allow them to be able to do damage to the tire and hope for the best. Don't just fly into your teammate to try to, like, save them from a tire that ended up getting you killed. Your Moira can survive that off of a reaction time. So, healing the Wrecking Ball is fine here because your Wrecking Ball is falling back, okay? Like, this is fine so far to heal your Wrecking Ball. You're in the pre-fight. Now you're good. Your Wrecking Ball was out of combat for a while. They're going to be fine. Do not worry about that. If your Wrecking Ball chooses to go in and get rolled, that's on your Wrecking Ball. This is fine. Good heals. Everything's good.
Supplying damage increase.
There you go. All right. I mean, I think this is where I think what you're trying to figure out, and I think it's a good question, is you're wondering what you can do in this type of situation, right? You want to be more helpful in this situation, and you want to sit here and bring more value to your team, right? That's what you're asking. And the truth is, this is just what happens sometimes in Overwatch, where the other team makes good plays, and you got to stop thinking about it as like, oh, I can just go and do this, and if I made this play, it would be fine. Listen, here's my take. If you really want to get aggressive here and enforce some plays, you would use your Valk way prior to this, to whenever you had it. So you've had Valk since here, okay? Even then, Now that I see the timing on Valk, I wouldn't even Valk that yet, right? Like, what would be the point of Valking it? Now you get the res off. Your teammates have a little bit of map control. I still wouldn't Valk this yet. Now you can Valk. Now you have numbers. So if you want to like really lead the charge, this is where you would have that timing, right? You would use Valk. You would go in. You could run at the Zenyatta, maybe force out Zen ult, trade out your ultimates, and then your teammates win, right? This is where you could do that. But like overall, so far, it's been fine. Like you're doing what you can to be able to assist your teammates and helping them get wins, right? So once again, there's something that we've been saying more and more now, and this is a common quote you've heard for years, is sometimes less is more. So don't think that you have to do 100 different things to be able to bring a win to your team. Just be a solid teammate, and you're probably going to win more games than you lose, and so far, you've been a solid teammate. At least in my opinion. Okay, now wait for the Valk. Right when that, now Valk. Hit the Valk button now. Hit the Valk button now. Valk now. Valk now. Valk now. Hit your Valk button. Let's go ahead. There you go. You were about 4 seconds too late. And I want to explain why. Once you have an advantage, especially in the spawn here, this is where you want to hit the button. This is where you want to go and secure the kill. So you had the right idea to Valk. You were just a couple seconds behind. You do this because it just makes sure it keeps your teammates at a really good HP and also damage boosted. So pop that a couple seconds sooner. That team fight's already over. Everything's fine here. You did fine. Couple seconds off on a play. I'm gonna be real with you. Like your Wrecking Ball played that fine. I think you're overanalyzing what you need to do for a Wrecking Ball. I have nothing but like you played this perfectly fine, and I wouldn't worry about like what we saw in that first half. Everything there was fine.
Attackers incoming. Sniper, ten cuidado. Let me fix you up.
Getting some heals up. So far, so good. Soldier dies right in front of you, not your fault. Okay, and I want to pause because you had questions about Wrecking Ball. There's nothing you would be able to do about what that Wrecking Ball just did. So I want you to get out of the mindset of like, oh, how do I help my Wrecking Ball? What can I do in that? Like, you know, do I go in and heal them? No, that wouldn't change anything. You would not be able to keep your Wrecking Ball alive. Your Wrecking Ball just needs to learn not to go into their team, and that's calm. Your Wrecking Ball is just learning, like, initially that, yeah, probably don't go into an Orisa Zen Mei comp and get isolated out. That's just on the Wrecking Ball. Straight up. Just on the Wrecking Ball.
Come here and I will heal you.
On your Wrecking Ball.
Answering you.
Should have kept your head.
You're doing everything right so far. You're damage boosting your soldier. You don't want to damage boost your Sombra because your Sombra is going to have to be stealth a lot of the time, which will give away the position in. You're healing your teammates when you need to. Everything's fine so far. There's nothing so far that you have to worry about. All right? After this, don't be afraid to Valk. If you need to. But you don't even have to yet. You could Valk now. Because you're kind of out of position now, so you want to be able to get into a correct spot to help your team. Okay. This is what I mean. Like look when you Valked. This is why I'm trying to give you the timings. The reason why you Valk prior to your Wrecking Ball dying is because you need the other team to be able to react to you in some way. So when you sit there and don't actually hit your ult button at all, they're not going to like really be afraid of anything else happening on the screen. So the moment you Valk, you could help your Wrecking Ball a little bit. Not a ton to keep them healed, but enough to basically create the threat for them that there's going to be an issue at that point. So whenever you're playing Overwatch and you hear an ultimate on the other team, your first reaction is you need to be a little bit reactive to what's happening. So when you're in a situation where you're out of position there and your soldier's kind of like hiding up on high ground, the Valk time becomes good because the other team has to react to you. And if they don't, this allows for your DPS to then go pop off because they're not reacting to you. And then you have massive like AoE damage boost. And you might be able to keep your Wrecking Ball alive just enough to where they have to react. So this is why, if you look, you have the right idea, but your timing is off. You knew you had to Valk, but you Valked too late. So right now, this is just this is just a slight timing issue that you need to adjust, I would say. What rank is this? Gold. But so far, that's been your #1 issue. Is just your timing. A couple seconds off. You seem to have the right idea that it needs to be used, but you're using it just slightly off on timing. Don't res anybody, die on card. Don't res anybody, die on card. Don't res anybody, die on card. Okay. I just want to get this in your mind. If you're the last one alive there, do not try to run away. Unless you have your Valk up and you can fly out, which even then you probably weren't going to be able to. Die on the cart because that makes the cart not move, and it gives more time for your teammates to get back to the cart in time. It's a good habit to have if the team fight's already over.
Intercept that payload.
So you see how the cart was at 0.8 meters? That could have been at maybe, let's say, 4 meters because of you going on cart, which maybe gives a little bit more opportunity. And your teammates clutched it anyway, so. But, like, that's the difference there. Do you see how it was 0.80 meters before they capped it? You dying on cart there could maybe delay that by 3 meters, which gives you a little bit more opportunity space, and your teammates don't have to, like, overreact to how to get to the cart, so. Once again, I'm trying to give you as many small tips as I can during this, because overall, I actually think you've been playing just fine. But when you said you want improvement in every area you can, why not give you where I see a little bit of an issue, right? But you have the right idea. Like, is it... And maybe, you know, Mercy players could chime in on it too. But I actually feel like, yeah, and maybe it's just me. I think Wrecking Ball makes your decision-making even easier, in my opinion. Like, when you have a Wrecking Ball, this actually makes your decision-making 10 times easier, right? You never heal Wrecking Ball, so now all you have to worry about is making sure your DPS are alive and occasionally checking on your other support. Like, there's no decision-making here. It's pretty simple. Your Wrecking Ball self-sustains. If the ball comes back for heals and is in a safe spot, you can throw your heals on Wrecking Ball, but, like, overall, this is pretty straightforward. You have 2 DPS players you can damage boost. You have a Sombra, so you're not going to do that anymore, and it leaves... Make sure your Moira's topped off and kept alive, and damage boost your soldier. It's pretty straightforward, right? It's like... If anything, this comp is one of the simplest comps to know how to play around. There isn't like, oh, do I need to heal my Zarya very quickly in this situation? Because then you have to make a decision, right? This one's like, oh, my Wrecking Balls, they're playing Wrecking Ball. Like, they come to me for heals, I'll give them a heal occasionally, but I can just damage boost my soldier and make sure my Moira is alive. If the Sombra comes back and is low HP, I can heal my Sombra. It's very, very easy decision-making, which, by the way, you're already doing. Like, you're already making that decision. So I hope this assures you that you're not really hecking up too much. You're just thinking that you need to do more when in reality you don't. And there you go. D.Va, we'll just learn how to... I'll be aggressive on the back line and don't stand still in front of another tank. It's D.Va. No, you're looking... Do not worry about Wrecking Ball. This is the correct play, by the way. Just so you know, everything you're doing is correct right now. This is fine. This is correct. This is still correct. Now you have to leave your soldier. Yes. I mean, now you can go back to your soldier. Everything was fine. You can Valk this if you want. Do not be afraid to Valk this. You still have time and you have off angles. Boom. Keeping your Sombra alive. You can go into a Valk now. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I was a bad Valk call by me because they actually got people in the... Oh. Like, I would have Valked it, but I think it would have been the same result that you're seeing. It's kind of, like, it was just, yeah. I'm still okay with the Valk, but, yeah, you could have, it's more of a good Mael. This is more of a good Mael than anything. All right, this is fine. Heal your ball. You can heal your ball now. This is where you would heal your Wrecking Ball. This is fine. Just stay in the ball for now. Now you switch over to, like, your Sombra or your Soldier. So far, so good. Reset. Yep. You have your teammate to get out, so you don't have to die in cart there. Everything's fine. See? Good. Valk was fine, just a better Mael. Your Orisa just runs in a straight line. Your Sombra died at spawn. Damage boosting and healing your Moira. Correct decision. Wrecking Ball's in the back line. Don't have to worry about that. Keeping your soldier alive. Flying into the middle. Using movement. That's fine. Nothing you really do about that. You can't go into their team. You can't go behind you. You have to try to save your soldier. Yep, everything was fine. Yep. You can res. You have a time into res because you're Wrecking Ball. Yeah, now you res. I mean, like, I think you might think you're a lot worse at, like, Mercy than you think you are. Because, like, I'm watching you make correct decisions. Like, you knew you could res the Bastion. You saw the Wrecking Ball, and then the moment the Mei on their team used Wall, you didn't even think twice. You went right for the res. Like, that is all correct decision-making by you right now. That was correct decision-making, at least in my opinion. Do I like eggnog? It's, like, okay to me.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Enemy. Soldier 76.
Checking in. Feel stronger?
Keeping your Bastion alive. Bastion's just had one of the most... I feel like their Mei is helping your team more than it's helping, like their team. Like, every single wall I see, like, saves your teammates. Like, oh, there's a Bastion in the middle of our team. Use an ultimate. Let me wall them off. Okay. What? They're in the middle. Why would you wall them off? It's like a free kill. Like,
Activating healing stream.
you know what I mean? It's like, okay, like, thank you. How kind of you to keep me alive there in that situation. What a treat.
Feeling more power. Hello.
60 seconds.
Yep.
Let me fix you up.
Yeah, the movement, like, the reason why I don't overanalyze the movement too much is that in gold, I'd rather see, like, the really good decision-making, because I think the movement will definitely just continue to come with time. But it is a good point, too. It's, like, not a bad point. It's
I
just...
could use some assistance.
It's...
Don't worry. I'll patch you up.
It hasn't been, like, terrible enough for me to be like, you really got to work on it. But obviously, always work on your movement. As you climb in the ranks as Mercy, you're definitely going to need to have, like, top-tier movement to make sure you can consistently survive. And I'm telling you right now, you know, when I play against really good Mercies in top 500, you'll see what I'm talking about when it comes to top 5, like, when the movement, it's unreal. It's like, it can be frustrating at times because they'll, like, you'll basically slingshot across, like, the map, and then, like, you try to chase them, and then by the time you get to them, they slingshot backwards, but then, like, you turn around and they slingshot back the other way, and you're like, what the? So, and that just comes with time. Because as you climb, that's how you need to survive more. Decision-making's been fine here. You save with your teammates. You're not overanalyzing going forward. Your Wrecking Ball is having a good backline pressure. This was a by the books, outside of a couple things here and there, good Mercy gameplay. You did nothing here that I was like, oh my, what are you doing? Oh, why are you going for a risky res? Why are you doing this? Straight up, I felt like the only thing that I saw you need to... There's two things I'm going to tell you. One, I hope that you understand what I'm saying about Wrecking Ball. Stop worrying about Wrecking Ball on your team. You have... At no point in this game was I like, oh no, you need to go help this Wrecking Ball. Every time Wrecking Ball died, it was their fault. Every time that you needed to heal the Wrecking Ball, you did. You did everything you needed to do. You had good damage boosting. You had good heals. The only thing that you need to work on from what I saw, and outside of obviously working on your movement, which your movement was actually pretty good for gold, like I wasn't too worried about that to begin with, is just make sure your timings are better. You know, if you feel like you need a Valk, go and hit that Valk button, because I felt like you knew that you needed to, but your timings were off by about 2 seconds. You clene up that 2 seconds, you're going to be playing even better on Mercy. But this feels like a classic case of you think you're playing a lot worse than you are, and that sometimes less is more is a good way to look at it. You were fine. Everything here was fine. This is one of the easiest comps you can play with. I had no issues with how you played it. So I would take this as you're on the right track. Clean up the decision-making timings. Work on the movement a little bit. You're fine. You'll climb. Eventually it will happen. You'll climb. And Wrecking Ball, let Wrecking Ball do their own thing. If you ever get yelled at by a Wrecking Ball player for not healing them as Mercy, it is Wrecking Ball's fault, not you. Unless, like, they're standing on top of you and they need a heal and nothing's happening and you just don't heal them, that's a different story. But, like, that was never an issue, and it usually won't be an issue. So, yeah, apply that stuff. You'll keep climbing. You got this. You absolutely got this. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to all 3 YouTubes if you haven't, leave a comment. All that helps. If you want to submit your own spectating, look in the description below. You'll see my Discord. That is where you would do that. We also record these live on stream. You can see the Twitch chat below the webcam. Also stream on YouTube, so stop by if you haven't. With that being said, I hope you all have an amazing day /night.